what's growing on my beautiful tree where we're alive right now in the Afroganic Garden of Eden. Right now it is the Afroganic Desert of Eden. There's not much to eat. Oh, actually some of these edibles are probably or natives or wild plants, probably have some benefits, uses. I'm just not sure what they are. But I know this shrub, which is closest to the road for our 5-acre property, we're going to use this as our watering hole, our toilet. So if I need to pee, which I just did, then I can do that. I notice it brings in the flies. And see, you're adding nutrients to the ground if you're eating well, consuming well, drinking well. You're also adding a source of hydration. So it's going to be hydrating, beneficial to those insects nearby. Because a lot of flies just went after that like it was a little stream. Like, oh wow, it's raining. We have a quick, short chance of rain. And we're going to drink up and continue on our way. And they're going to pollinate. Flies are really good, from my experience, at pollinating things like mangoes. So when I do have mangoes, we want to keep them here. And there you're also marking your territory as well. So if there are critters around, maybe that they'll catch that scent and realize, oh, this is not normal. I need to stay away. So hopefully that'll help. Anyways, what we're going to do today, right now, we are going to open up the back of our SUV, and we have lots of things back here. So I've got wood chips, which I got from Griffith Park. Fortunately, we do not have the luxury of getting loads of wood chips out here yet. We have lots of grass clippings. There's some grass clippings in this bin as well, and more wood chips in that bin. So we are going to be using that in combination with a few other things, and let me share that with you. So back here we actually have buckets, and all of these buckets contain different things. We have food scraps in here, which is covered with wood chips. This one is, at least. Let's see what this one looks like. If I could open it. I can't open it. Let's take some of these out for you. So that's food scraps. We're going to actually make living holes today. And a living hole is just simply adding life in the soil. And you can see an onion peel right there. So that's another food scraps. I think we have three buckets of food scraps. And we got some more over there. So let's go check out and see what that is. Man, it's beautiful out here. So peaceful. You know, maybe one day I will own a mountain acre property like that. Just looks gorgeous. We got some more wood chips right here. Those are more wood chips. This actually is going to go home. So we can use that to fill the rest of our new compost buckets. And then right here we have another bucket. And this bucket actually has some soil. So you can see there's a mix of different things in here. And besides adding the food scraps, what we're going to do, we have worm castings in here. We have sulfur. We have a mix of different types of rock dust, biochar. Might have some wood ash in there, I'm not sure. We have worm castings, I don't know if I said that. We have the kelp meal, so seaweed is in here. I think there's a bit of potting soil in here from Vital Gardens. Potting soil, I just had some at the bottom of the bucket, so I just kept it in there. And there's actually some worms. I can see some worms in here crawling around. It's kind of hard to see them. And then we also have some humates in there, humic acid granules. So lots of things in there to add nutrients to the soil. And then to add even more nutrients to the soil, because we got a lot of water. Like food scraps has a lot of water. This is more of a dry material. And then the grass is gonna break, it's a source of moisture as well. Right here we got fresh compost, bacterial dominated compost from my Juraform compost tumbler. Look at that, and there's a lot of worms in here. Some of this is broken down, some of this is half broken down, some of this is starting to break down. So there's a mix of that in there as well. So see, we got bacterial dominated compost. We got a mix of other soil amendments. And then we're gonna start with our food scraps, followed by those two, then followed by the grass clippings, which is a lot of nitrogen mixed in there with probably some fungal components as well. And then we're gonna top that with the covering, the mulch, which is the wood chips, which is a mixture of nitrogen and carbon, but mostly carbon. So then that smell will immediately go away once it's covered. This will hold in the moisture under there, and then we'll be good to go. Now I'm only gonna do a few of these. I only have 3 buckets, so we're probably gonna do like 3 living holes for you guys, just to show you what the process looks like. I want to try to do a little deep. If you're not familiar, there's a guy by the name of Yakuba Sawadogo. Yakuba Sawadogo is he's an African, and he came up with the Zai technique. There's a wonderful documentary called The Man, I think, Who Greened the Desert, something like that. But basically, he did the opposite of what his village told him to do. And during the heat, the hot seasons, was when he went out there and he said, I'm gonna turn a desert into a forest. You know, and that was probably the biggest inspiration for me. He's one of the pioneers of doing this. And there's a few other people way back then as well. You know, George Washington Carver, you know, and then later after that, you know, you have a few others, Bill Mollison, you know, who came up with the term permaculture, you know, and then you have Jeff Lawton. They all basically kind of include around the same things, you know. Like anything can be repaired. And to make it a little bit easier, if you have some components like I do, then you're not just adding mulch and it's dry and you have to wait till the rainy seasons, you know, or the winter, cold, snowy seasons for it to add some moisture. You know, so Yakuba, what he did was he used cow dung and compost. That was all he had. And even though his village said you're supposed to do that during fall, and he said, I'm not going to do that. You know, I want to prepare before. So that's what I'm doing in a sense. I'm preparing before we get to fall and winter. When it rains, everything falls, you know, twigs, needles, leaves, branches, which turn into mulch and the covering. And then winter comes, you know, it rains or snows, which adds more moisture, which helps everything to break down, providing a natural 24/7 compost tea to prepare for next spring's growth. And then it's all ready. So that's what we're doing right now. Right now we're just planting a few holes. I'm just doing random spots. I want to do them a little bit away from some of these holes that we see in the ground, because I don't want to disturb any critters under here. But I know over time that's going to happen, and they'll probably move out, move over. They got all this space. They're good. They'll come back once they see I'm feeding them. You know, I'm gonna have a lot of food for them, so they'll be like, okay, we're not pissed at them. So let's go ahead and start these holes, and I'll show you guys the process. Join me.
mentality, using your physicality to develop the growth of the spirituality. Through nature, the creator create you to make you remain visible. The truth educating the youth to be fruitful in a vegetative mind, staying rooted in the vine, artificial to beneficial. We let the light shine.
Oh yeah, there we go. You can smell that goodness. Actually, I don't even smell anything. Compost. Soil amendments. And this is wood chips, which we are going to save for another day. Oh, now I can smell the food scraps. So we got our grass clippings. Our wood chips. I'm a little concerned as to what is under these grounds, all these holes. You'll definitely see me running if there are some ants. The soil is really hard. It's like a mixture of sandy and clay. It's really heavy. It's a lot of sand. There are some clay elements, I can tell, especially if it gets flooded around here. That's gonna be that clay. Let's try using this thing. This could be some nice tinder. So there's a lot of this out here, like firewood. I was thinking like some of these bigger pieces that could be good firewood. But I've been saving my lemon tree and things like that, pruning at home in my urban food forest. So we should be good. Ooh, starting to get more brown. And I wonder if there is water. Under here. Ooh, this is heavy. It'll be a good sound design. It's nice and crispy. If you guys have been following me on my Instagram, you know that I did this in my urban food forest. And of course it was much easier then because I just dumped the wood chips, waited patiently for a year or two, and now it's rich soil. But it's a little bit drier out here, way more than where I am, because I have a water hose. There is no water hose over here. So that's why we're adding way more water content. It's a little bit more compact, feels like it, and a little bit more dense as we get down to there. What I want to try to do is bury a foot minimum. So we got our yardstick here, and this is almost a foot. I wonder if I could plant some desert drought tolerant trees right in this stuff. Of course, if you have some nutrients, they're going to do way better. But I was thinking about doing aloe vera and cactus in areas like this. But I honestly feel if you have more nutrients, you're getting off to a better start. So though people will probably look at this and be like, why don't you just cover with wood chips and walk away? Or why don't you just take a tree and bury it? Or you could even finish digging like right now, then add the compost, add the soil amendments, and then mix that in there with the native soil, and then put the tree in there, and then cover with wood chips and grass clippings. Well, yes, I could do that, but the reason why I don't want to do that is because I want to give the soil more time. Like I said, the patient game. Bacterial dominated soil is what you see right here. In an enclosed environment like my compost tumbler, Joroform, and you turn it. You add water, you add the nitrogens, the carbons, the oxygen, and the water, of course, which I just said, and you turn it. As the oxygen is created and it's mixed, it breaks down quicker. That is bacterial dominated soil. Fungal dominated soil takes much longer time, and it happens in nature. So we're going to speed up that process a little bit by adding nutrients with the native soil, but covering it and leaving it there. And when it rains, fall, winter pass, spring comes, this hole should be super rich and broken down. Now, am I going to remember where it is? Yes, if I put wood chips here and don't have a tree service, dump it here. So wherever the living holes are, I'm either going to put surveyor flags on them when I get some more, or we'll just have wood chips around it, and that lets me know, okay, we plan that to be a tree there in the future. So that's the goal. And what I'm actually thinking of doing, because I want the hole to be a little bit bigger, we are going to make it a little wider. Whoa, I'm falling. Almost fell in there. This could be like a booby trap. So this is almost 2 feet, which is good. Let's see if we can get like 2 feet. That would be great. Hey man, that's crazy. I could put some booby traps down here. They'd be walking along. I put some leaves over it. It'd be like, whoa! Whoa, that would be crazy. And depending on, I'm gonna have so many booby traps and things on my property. It's no joke. Might not be posting any of that stuff though, because then you'll know. I'll have the animals in my wonderful plethora of toys to play with from nature, that nature provides, and those that I build from nature. So me adding a wider hole is going to make more room for the plant, more broken down material inside, which means it can be fed well. And people say different things. Again, this is me experimenting. This is my first time buying land. I want to see. I could just bury the tree in the native soil or mix it with other stuff, and I'm sure it'll do great with patience. I just want to add more nutrients. Because I don't have my property line set up, and I haven't mapped out and drawn out the structure of how I want all the plants. So that's another reason why I'm doing this. To get rid of the food scraps. I can dump it here. I'm adding nutrients to the soil and let it build up more minerals. And then when I'm ready, the soil will be fertile. Ooh, it's a lot of work. This is fun. It's a workout. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna come out a little bit over here. Oh, this is deep. This is scary. Another cool thing that I thought of is I could make an underground cellar for fermenting. I could put some type of box or something in the soil like this so that nothing gets inside. No insects, no moisture, no water, no soil, and it'll stay cool when it's hot and warm when it's cold. I don't need to necessarily bury or burrow and make a cellar home. Even though I might experiment with making an underground fortress, digging like a big space to where I could be underground and I can have an underground playground. Wouldn't that be amazing? Just get some water and then let this dry out like clay and build an underground basement. Nobody could find me. Be hidden. Okay. All right. That should be deep enough. Yep, this is just about 2 feet. It's a lot of space. So what we're gonna do is, since I actually dug real deep, and that's probably enough to fit all of what we brought, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So we're going to actually pour all of this plus just maybe a few scoops of this soil amendment here. I don't want to waste it. but we're gonna put all this compost because we make it ourselves. So let's go ahead and do that. I see a big hole in there. Kind of scares me. Something just made a hole. I don't know if that was a rat or something. I don't know if you guys caught that. Anyways, so we got our compost right there. Actually, now that I think about it, we still got some sand there, so we're just gonna add that. Let's go ahead and add some of our compost. Got coconut, mangoes, all kinds of stuff in this. There's a lot of worms in here. So we want more moisture. So let's go ahead and actually add all of this. It's so easy to make compost at home. Okay. Woo! Look at that. Now we're gonna do, we got a lot of grass here too. So since we just poured that out, we're gonna go ahead and dump some of our sand in there and mix that up. And cover that. Okay, it's covered. Now we're gonna go ahead and add some grass. This has been sitting here for a while at home. There's a lot of flies, probably fly larvae. It's a little moist under there. We're just gonna cover it. There's a lot of fruit flies or flies all in there. And that's more nitrogen. And the desert's gonna be like, whoa, what is all this stuff? Flies that are native here and insects are like, whoa, what is all this stuff? There's a lot of food under there. This doesn't smell that nice. But again, in nature, nothing stinks because it's balanced. Right now, it's unbalanced. Well, ooh, that smells. But when I dump this, the smell is gone. But first, let's go ahead and put some of the sand back, cover it. To be honest, if I had to choose between clay and sand, I'd probably choose, for growing, I don't know, maybe sand. Drainage is better, but I love clay because it has the benefit of building. Things will hold together. And this is like a mixture of sand and clay, so this is awesome. So now we have that moisture under there. Whoa, I'm sinking. It's like quicksand. Whoa. That felt so weird for a moment. Is that how they make quicksand? They just put a whole bunch of food scraps under there and a thin layer of sand and clay. And as soon as you step in it, you just go, you gotta use your weight to just go down so slow. All right, and then we're gonna add these wood chips here to let me know we buried it right here. And that's it. hole number 1 for me. And last hole for you. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, my name is Chris Nuno, signing off Afroganic style. Encouraging everyone in every way to grow big and grow home.